So just talking about the whole notion of chancification a little bit, there is really a parallel with electrification. So in electrification, you've got your light bulbs, you got power plants, you got transmission lines. And I'm going to take North America. In North America, we have these little plugs here in every room. And everyone's got the same plug. And we plug everything together, and that's how you get electrification, through this standardization. So with chancification, the light bulb is sort of the decision maker, and the decision maker starts out by using these flat dice, which is ridiculous. But you've got data scientists and statisticians down here. They represent the power plant. In fact, Alex, you use the term the generators, right?
Yep.
And the decision makers.
And users, yeah. Generators and users, yes.
And you know, really, Adam Smith would love this. It's like specialization of labor, right?
Totally.
So,
just one caveat, because data scientists, for the generators, data scientists and statisticians sounds kind of too elitist, scary.
yeah,
But basically any quant, like anybody with a mathematical background, you don't
analysts.
have to, yeah, kind
Analysts.
of, yeah.
Well, and you bring up a very important point here, because one of the biggest problems that we run up against is what I call post-traumatic statistics disorder, or PTSD. So, look, it's analysts of all sorts, and they are the generators now, and they represent the power plant in effect. But we've also got the IT personnel. So this is like the transmission line, and the fact is, if you have an approach that cannot be transported as data, you have a problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we've got these three groups, and here are the decision makers. You've got all these wonderful analysts down here doing all this great work, and these people are still using flat dice. So the secret here now is to connect these people together using the open SITMath standard to communicate uncertainty. And again, the key is your organization already has all these people. You don't need to hire new people. You have to go out and teach them to teach themselves. So when you get all these folks hooked up now, communicating uncertainty, you go from single number decisions to what we call chance-informed decisions. And the key with a chance-informed decision is that there are risk-reward trade-offs, which is exactly what you were talking about. Yeah, so exactly. You want to increase the chance of the thing flying for 300 hours? Sure. Make all your parts out of platinum or something, right? Or yeah. Diamonds, I don't know.
Totally. And even more importantly, the distinction between kind of single point decisions and chance-informed decisions. In single point, it's usually do this or do nothing. It's kind of binary. In chance-informed decisions, you usually have multiple good options. The only difference between good options is the actual trade-off between risk and reward. It could be more risk, more reward, good option. It could be less risk, less reward, also a good option. And then it's kind of a subject of a decision maker's, appetite for risk.
Well, absolutely. And again, risk appetite doesn't even show up when you're using single numbers.
Yeah.
Suppose if I roll a 5, I'm dead. Well, starting with 3.5, I don't know the chance of rolling a 5, right? And another thing you said is, really, it is more robust because you're looking at the trade-offs. It reminded me of this. If you take a suspension bridge and you've got all those cables holding the bridge up, right? Yep. those cables need to flex. If you used hardened steel instead of flexible steel in those cases, the whole bridge would fall down because it'd be like pieces of spaghetti. If anyone broke, it individually would break, and then the tension would immediately go up on another one, and it would break. And you don't. It's fragile. The whole thing is very fragile, like a piece of glass. Once you start taking the chance-informed approach, your plans can flex.
That's a really good analogy. It's all about making business planning, forecasting, budgeting, and performance management flexible. No, flexible is not right.
Well, no,
flexing.
Yeah. Well, no, there is a word for this, though, right? I think no, it's not brittle,
Yeah.
right? No,
Well,
I think flexible.
Taleb would call it anti-fragile.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, somehow that word doesn't do it for me. Robust is another word, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And anti-fragile might even be a stronger term, because it's one thing to be flexible, but then the flexibility does lead to the notion of putting options in place to counter some of the bad things that could happen. I think anti-fragile maybe goes further and implies, oh yeah, our stock could drop, but I got put options in place to counter that.